yes I do. 'Cause he looks so fine up on that hill. They tell me he was lonely, he's lonely still. Those days are gone forever, over a long time ago. Ooh, it's hot now. Let me start by saying good evening to each of you. I want to say thank you so very much for your patience on this evening. We want to do things tonight, and we have the agenda. We're going to walk through it all with you. We're going to make sure we're doing things decently and in order, and that means having a little patience for the folks who are in line right now, who are still trying to gain entrance to participate. There are 2 additional rooms that I can see the people who are seated in those rooms, and they can also see us. So there is an interactive connection between all folks who are participating on this evening. I thank you so very much for your grace, and we'll get started as soon as everyone is prepared. Is that all right with you all? All right, thank you. It would have been nice to have some Frankie Beverly. Right? Yeah. How about that? Shout out to our Philadelphia's own Frankie Beverly, who transitioned. We love you, Frankie, and your music has inspired a great deal of unity. So we thank him. Keep he and his family, our son of Philadelphia, in your thoughts and prayers. And we'll also talk about, before we get started, we'll do a formal moment of silence to show a sign of respect for a tragedy we had here in the city of Philadelphia. So again, thank you for your patience. Who do I always see from the chamber? I came down, yeah. Okay.
I remember the law.
I've got myself
Indeed.
to remind me of love. My mind and my heart. I believe in love. And these happy feelings, feel that happy feeling. I'll spread them all over the world from deep in my soul. I wish you happy feelings. What I mean, happy feelings. Happy feelings. Happy feelings. I've seen the light, watched it shine down on me. I'm gonna spread my wings, yeah, and I'm gonna tell all I see. These happy feelings, feel that happy feeling. I'll spread them all over the world from deep in my soul. Spread it all over. Spread it all Got myself to remind me of love. I've got my mind and my heart, yeah, and I believe in above and these happy feelings. Ooh, I'll spread them all over the world. These happy feelings, yeah, I'll spread them all over the world. These happy feelings, I'll spread them all over the world. Tell you about that feeling, yeah, yeah. All right. Tell you about that feeling, yeah, yeah. Every day. Tell you about that feeling, yeah, yeah. Won't go back to the Tell you about that feeling, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so much going on, it's crazy. Trouble all around. I'll tell you something, I'm not gonna let it get me down. No, no. I've been going through some funky changes. Changes are the same. We like the joy, but we can't really stand the pain. I'm just happy to see you and me back in stride again. I'm so happy to see you and me back in stride again. I'm gonna try to keep it coming. Things ain't always smooth, but I'll be alright as long as I can find the groove. Somehow I know that I can make it. You seem to like my style. Alright. Well, don't you worry, 'cause I'm gonna be around a while. I'm just happy to see you and me back in stride again. I'm just happy to see you and me back in stride again. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I just wanna be with you. Wanna give it all I can. Yes, I'm back in stride again. There's so much going on, it's crazy. There's trouble all around. But I'll tell you something, I'm not gonna let it get me down. No, no. I've been going through some funky changes. The changes are the same. Yeah. We like the joy, but we can't really stand the pain. No, 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 no. Cherelle, give them a few words for the wise.
Keep your step, keep your step.
Oh yeah, that shit sound kind of good. Come on, just clap hands to the beat. Come on, just clap hands to the beat. See, if you're big, black, ugly, or fat, come on and get the bone on out your back. Get the bone out your back, girl. Get the bone out your back, boy.
From the Chinatown community meetings, check marks of who's here.
Who's here, and these are the speakers? Okay.
If they're checked.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I want to state for the record that even right now, there are people who are still in line, and they tell me that the line is going towards Broad Street. I just want to be clear and acknowledge it. Yeah, that's great for our city of Philadelphia. I'm also looking at, this is important from a transparency perspective, that we were prepared today for a very large audience. We have an ante room in room 115, another ante room in 119. They can see us, we can see them. If they are, yeah, wait, that's great. Wave to them so that they see you, and waving back. And so I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for coming out to this very important meeting. In order for us to get started, we're going to have Jennifer Romano, who is the engagement organizer for this region, and Jennifer's going to walk through for us. And this is very important for me to say. I'm going to ask each of us to pay very, very close attention to the rules of engagement that she will go over. We have a stenographer who is here, too. I don't care what your position is relative to the issue at hand, whether you are for or against, you do yourself a disservice in allowing the facts and the people who will speak on this evening. You will do yourself a disservice if you shout and attempt to overtalk them, because the great thing about having a stenographer on hand is you get what we used to call in counsel the notes of testimony, and that will be extremely important as it relates to this decision making. Is everybody hear me clearly? All righty. Give a round of applause for Jennifer as she walks through the rules of engagement.
Hello. We're going to ask you that you please be respectful, kind, and polite. Take space, make space, meaning the intention of this event is to provide an update and listen to the voices of those most directly impacted. Take up space if you are directly impacted by this topic. We want to hear from you. Step back and make space for others if you are not directly impacted. Each speaker will be allotted 2 minutes or less during the questions and answers to ensure that everyone has a chance to contribute and that the meeting remains on schedule. This 2-minute time limit will be strictly adhered to. We will have one speaker at a time. Listen actively and give your full attention to the person who is speaking. Do not interrupt. Respect and consider viewpoints that may be different from your own. Lend with curiosity. This space is an opportunity for us to understand each other better. Safety of all participants and staff in attendance is the utmost important. Interpretation services will be available as well as translated materials. Individuals who do not adhere to the above norms will be asked to leave. Respectful communication. Speak from your own experience to promote understanding. Listen without interrupting. Everyone should have a chance to speak without being cut off. No personal insults. Please speak to each other with respect, avoiding unrelated topics, personal attacks, insults, or inflammatory language. Focus on finding solutions or agreements where possible, rather than just highlighting differences. And lastly, the restrooms are to the left of the doors.
That's important, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Jennifer, for walking through the rules of engagement. I now want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of some of our elected officials who are here with us, but you will not see them seated up front because this is not an interrogate the elected official meeting. This is literally a listening session on this evening. But I want to thank my former colleague and one of the hardest working elected officials I've ever engaged with in my lifetime, Councilmember Mark Squilla, who's here somewhere. Councilmember Squilla. I saw John Christmas, the Chief Legal Counsel in the City Council of Philadelphia, the Office of the Council President. John Christmas, where are you, John? He's here. He's around here somewhere. Give John a round of applause. Councilmember Jeffrey Young is here. I know I saw him earlier. Councilmember Young, give him a round of applause. And State Senator Nikhil Saval is here. Let me start with some additional acknowledgments that I need to make. And you are going to hear from these individuals if they are present. Some of them were scheduled to speak, but they are not here. Some sent a representative, some did not. But the individuals you are going to hear from, these are stakeholders with whom I, as mayor of the city of Philadelphia, have had meetings to discuss the issue of the arena being proposed here. And I wanted you to have an opportunity to hear exactly what I heard and what each of them communicated to me. Now, if I screw up some of these names, you're going to charge it to my head and not my heart. Adam from the Real Estate and Beverage Association, he's co-president, the Chinatown Square. Annie Lowe, the Asian American Legal Defense, she's a Skadden Fellow. Dan, a Chinese Metro owner. Father Tom Betts, Holy Redeemer Church. Glenn Hing, attorney, Asian Chamber member, and a principal at High Law. Harry Leong, Christian Church Outreach Director. Holly Meng, Director of the Global Collab. Jack Chen, Asian Chamber member, Board of Directors. James Wang, Asian Bank President. Joe Wong, Overseas Chinese Association. Margaret Chen, PCDC Vice Chair. Michael Chow, Sankey owner. Can we give Michael Chow a round of applause? I love wherever you are. I'm sorry. That's a matter of personal privilege. Stephen from the Chinese Restaurant Association. He's the president. Vivian Chang, Asian Americans United, Executive Director. Wayne Lee, Chinese Christian Church Pastor. Wei Chen, Asian Americans United, Civic Engagement Director. Andy Toy, the Philadelphia Association of Community Development Corporations. Daisy Cruz, SEIU, Philadelphia President. Barbara Cherry, SEIU, Janitor and Cleaner. Ryan Boyer, Building Trades Business Manager. Elaine McGuire, IBEW Business Rep. Tella Almond, IBEW Business Rep. Lou Giorla, Carpenters. Dan from the Carpenters. Market East and other organizational stakeholders. Kindzall Arthur, Asian American Chamber. Zakari Wilka, Independence Business Alliance. I did see Mo Rushdie from the BIA. Ben Connors from the GBCA. Dan Killinger From the National Real Estate, she's the president, Mark Merlini Brickstone, and Reverend Dr. J. Henry Buck Jr., the African American Chamber of Commerce Business Associate. Give all of our stakeholders a round of applause. Let me also acknowledge for the benefit of all of our stakeholders who are here, the consultants who prepared the 4 impact reports. BJH Advisors and Sojourner Consulting in partnership with Urban Partners, AKRF, and that was Community. For Traffic, it was Otis and JMT. For Revenue and Economic Analysis, it was CSL. And for Design, Convergence Design and Ian Smith Design Group. We also have PIDC, who is present. Give all of them a round of applause, if you will. Now, as we work to get into the meeting, I get an opportunity to say a few things about the why I asked for this meeting to take place. And I want to make what I am referencing as a statement of purpose on why we're here on tonight. As I mentioned earlier, this is intended to be a listening session. We are going to hear directly from the community, both those in support and those in opposition. Before I make any decision on the arena proposal in Center City, I will do what I have done throughout my entire career, that is standing operating procedure, and that is I will communicate and I will listen to any stakeholders that is impacted by that decision making. Now, we are intentionally creating a space and a place tonight where if people have comments they want to make, to be a part of that public record, because you heard me reference that stenographers are literally in the room and they are recording what is being said on the record. You will get 3x5 cards. If you've ever attended any of my town hall meetings, you say, okay, this is a familiar process. You heard me mention the people, the stakeholders, the leaders that you are going to hear from. But if you are a resident here and you say, listen, I want my voice to be heard. I may not be in leadership in one of the organizations in this area, but I want to be heard. If we do not get to your question on tonight, each and every question or comment will be registered with us. We will make sure that we have a document that actually reflects every thought and comment and or question associated with tonight's meeting. Everybody understand that? I don't want anybody to leave here and saying I had a thought or an opinion, but there was no room for me. And I'm not at that part yet. All right? Let me just say this because it's on my spirit. For those of you in this room who've ever worked with me or who know me, the wrong way to attempt to influence me is to think that you're going to bully me. I don't care where you are. I feel passion. I respect passion. I know passion. I'm passion. I'll take that every day and all day. But to not be respectful and listen to everyone, know what happened in prior meetings, got a little briefing, was in council, spent a couple years on the campaign trail trying to become the mayor, heard about him, read about it from afar. This meeting will be done decently and in order. Just want to be very, very clear about that so no one can act as if they are surprised. What do you mean and why will we hear from Chinatown community leaders and stakeholders? Why will they be the first community leaders that we hear from? One, because I committed to them when I met with them that I would have a meeting and that they would be the first constituency that we heard from on the record about their varying perspectives on this issue. In addition to that, I want to be very clear. I went to school at 1118 Market Street. I am a lifelong Philadelphian. I remember the good old days when Wanamaker, Strawbridges, JCPenney's, and even Woolworths made us feel a sense of pride and dignity about what was on Market Street and when people came to visit Market Street. That's why it is also extremely important that city-wide leaders who would be impacted by this project outside of Center City proper and outside of Chinatown, they too have a voice that we should be listening to, and we should be including that perspective as we begin our decision-making process. So you will hear from them as well. I also want to note this, and this came, and you've heard me say this 1,001 times. The greatest compliment that I've ever received as an elected official came from a therapist in the mental and behavioral health field. That therapist said to me, Cherelle, you are an active listener. An active listener. That means every opinion matters. That means even if ultimately I'm going to agree or disagree with you, I am going to be listening to you and I'm going to be taking notes. Why is this of grave importance? I want to use an example for you on today. I remember when a multi-year construction project took place on the Market Frankfurt L, and it was devastating to local businesses in West Philadelphia. It lacked cultural competency, even in how the contracts, the scheduling, the communication with the business owners whose lives were on the line, and this construction would have a direct impact on them. Unfortunately, we didn't see meetings like this take place and or had this kind of synergy about how that construction was impacting those businesses that were on 52nd Street. Why do I bring that up? It's important to me that you know that the future viability of Chinatown and the area on and around Market Street from City Hall to the Delaware River. Somebody may say, well, wait, no, we're talking about right there where the arena is being proposed. If I took that perspective, I would be extremely short-sighted. When I look at this arena, I'm thinking about City Hall and I'm thinking about the river. So that is why potential displacement, the impact on businesses, all of that is of grave importance, and we're going to be paying attention to that on today. So whatever decision we ultimately make, I need you to hear me. Chinatown, Washington Square West, Market East, you all matter to me, and all of Philadelphia matters to me. Because especially the Chinatown business owners, and I've got to share this with you because I don't care if I am the mayor and I don't care about any of the proposals, the research that has been proffered by any of the experts who have worked on this. Let me say this to you. I grew up in a very proud working class blue collar neighborhood in Northwest Philadelphia with one of the highest rates of home ownership in the city. Working class. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, teachers, janitors, sanitation workers, domestic workers. Everybody lived together. And the people who lived in that neighborhood, they happened to own the businesses that were in that neighborhood. When I grew up, they lived on top and they operated the business. Every corner store, I could walk to school at 19th and Haines Street and name the families who owned those businesses. And in the 1980s, all of a sudden, every bit of generational wealth in my proud working class blue collar community, it was gone. And the residents who were there were relegated to the position of consumer. They don't own one corner store in their neighborhoods today. It frustrates me. My stomach churns. Even when, and I live in the neighborhood that I grew up in, every time I drive the path, we don't own those corner stores. That bothers me. So when you question whether or not the potential impact on Chinatown and the other surrounding neighborhoods and or communities matter to me, yes, they matter to me because I'm the mayor, but they matter to me because my real life lived experience says that before you make large decisions like this, it is very important that all stakeholders and those being impacted have an opportunity to have their voices heard, because you will impact generations. Is everybody clear about that? With that being said, we are going to hear from some stakeholders who are present, and they are going to give us a brief overview of community, traffic, revenue, and design. I have said to the consultants, these studies are public. There have been several meetings. These studies are public. You are not, where are they? Hello, thank you so much for being here. We want to hear from you, but everything that you've said already, everybody here has access to. So we want to get to the stakeholders who are here. I just want you to give a snapshot of what it is that you worked on. Is that all right? All right, I don't want to treat you like we did treat people at the Apollo, okay? All right, thank you. All right.
Hello. Okay, really brief. I'm Kay Hayashi, and this is Sarah Young. We worked with urban partners Isaac Kwan and Dr. Susanna Kidd and Lorraine Holm, and we were tasked with the community impact analysis. We reached out to stakeholders, Chinatown residential real estate business community, the Market East real estate and business community, the Washington Square West Civic Association, institutions including the Convention Center, Reading Terminal Market, SEPTA, and Jefferson Hospital, and city operating departments, the streets, police, and fire. Our approach was threefold. We looked at benchmark arenas, those that had significant environmental impact assessments to them. We did desktop research. We looked at the history of urban renewal in Chinatown, the current conditions, and recent trends. And we also looked at the environmental impacts from construction and transportation based on the limited information that we had regarding the design and programming of the arena at the time. We also did a small business net benefits analysis and a Chinatown systems analysis, which is fully reported in the report. In terms of the benchmark analysis, we looked at three benchmarks. We looked at Golden Center, we looked at Barclays Center, and Capital One Arena. And again, we selected those because of their urban context and because those arenas had gone through significant environmental impact review prior to their construction and the decisions to move forward. We also looked at the history of urban renewal in Chinatown, that 40% of Chinatown's land and housing has been displaced by construction of the Vine Street Expressway, the Roundhouse, the Center City Commuter Tunnel, and the Convention Center, and other urban renewal efforts. We also looked at the Fashion District and how it acts as a barrier between Chinatown and neighborhoods to the south. In terms of current conditions, we did the traditional planning studies. We looked at socio-demographics, the labor market, cultural assets, and safety and pedestrian environment issues. We conducted research that included 19 focus groups with 134 participants, 28 interviews, and 376 completed surveys were collected. We also had 2 well-attended public meetings, 1 in person and 1 virtual. So that's a little bit about our methodology, and I'd like to introduce Sarah for some of our findings, especially the systems analysis.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good evening, everyone. In Chinatown, we conducted a systems thinking approach, and we worked with the community to develop a set of core characteristics for the community. We then examined how those 6 different areas, which we called analytical areas, would impact the system of Chinatown. With respect to findings for Chinatown, if the arena is not built, Chinatown will face significant but not insurmountable gentrification challenges as rising real estate values put pressure on residents, and it faces competition from emerging centers in Northeast and South Philadelphia. If the arena is built, it will place stress on existing vulnerabilities, most evidently in the 2 areas of transportation and small businesses, and may result in indirect displacement. Specifically, we found that of a net benefits analysis of Chinatown businesses, about 50% of businesses would be likely to be negatively impacted, 20% would be likely to be positively impacted, and the rest would experience varied impacts. With respect to transportation, we found that Chinatown is a particularly auto-dependent community, and that cultural practices influence many of the concerns and behaviors of folks who travel to and live within the neighborhood. With respect to Market East, which is a historic shopping hub, this neighborhood continues to face the post-pandemic transformation of the retail and office landscape. And if the arena is not built, it will continue to face significant challenges around safety, quality of the built environment, and a weak business environment. If the arena is built, impact on safety and the built environment will depend on design of the project, its commercial program, and the extent that it can act as a development catalyst. In either scenario, we recognized that a comprehensive effort is needed to address the changing retail and office landscape in Market East. And now I'll ask the traffic engineers to come up and present on their findings.
Good evening. My name is Tony Rauso. I'm joined here by my colleague Joanne Arellano, and we represent JMT, which is a large-scale national engineering full-service firm. One of our largest operations is here in the city of Philadelphia, where we've had the privilege of delivering impactful projects and making a difference in the communities over the last 20 years. I lead our Eastern Pennsylvania transportation design operations, and Joanne is our regional traffic analysis lead. Tonight we're going to go over our findings and our independent analysis as it relates to the traffic study. So over the last 2 years, the 76ers have submitted multiple rounds of their transportation impact study, which you'll hear referred to as a TIS, and their transportation event management plan, as we'll call it the TEMP. Our scope was to do a deep dive on the key assumptions that drive these reports and determine two things: the assumptions' validity and their sensitivity, and understand their impacts as it relates to traffic operations. The three topics we're going to focus on tonight that are key to transportation include mode split, which is how arena goers will get to and from an event, parking, and ride-hail operations. Our methodology was centered around three strategic approaches that are data-driven. We reviewed peer city arenas and peer city data to understand mode split trends and transit usage. We analyzed hard parking data here in Center City, both during the commuting period as well as during concurrent events. And lastly, we completed an independent traffic and curbside analysis usage to understand the usage of the roadways that surround the arena. So now we'll get into our key findings, the first of which is mode splits. And the key here is to understand that this assumption is the cornerstone that drives the traffic analysis and has a direct impact on the traffic and transportation impacts. So I'll turn it over to Joanna.
So for modal split, which Tony mentioned is how one chooses how to get to their destination. The traffic study that was put together by the Sixers assumed a 40% auto split. They also assumed a 60% non-auto split, and out of that, 40% of that was comprised of transit. This is attainable, but definitely takes some work. What happens if it isn't met is that there is a breaking point at major intersections. And what that means by breaking point is there'll be gridlock, as well as, which is long queues of vehicles, as well as long delays. And that happens if, it could be over 43% of cars choosing to go to the arena. The overall goal here is what can be done to promote non-auto trips. And some of those key strategies that can be done will be to provide transit passes with every ticket. And also what can be done is to increase the frequency of the transit service, especially in the evening as well as the weekend. The next topic that I'll cover is ride-hailing. Ride-hailing is if one chooses to go to this area via Uber or Lyft. And based on what we reviewed as part of the traffic study, it's reasonable what they are proposing in regards to where they're proposing the loading and unloading zones. However, we did identify that of the zones that they identified, they were not all feasible. With the additional loading zones that we identified as part of our independent review, that's how we found that it is reasonable that ride-hailing would work. Now, with ride-hailing, though, the big component to keep in mind is what can be done when there's a vehicle looking to seek to pick someone up so that they are not blocking travel lanes. And what's important is what's called staging. So staging areas need to be proposed so that these vehicles seeking to pick someone up has a place that they could wait. So that's one of the items that needs to be brought up is what can be done for staging areas. In addition, there has to be some sort of enforcement to encourage that these vehicles are not blocking the travel lanes, and that's very important. So lastly, Tony's going to cover parking.
Thanks, Joanne. Our last area of focus was parking. And just to be brief, what we've determined is that the assumptions presented in the transportation impact study were valid, and that if the modal split comes to fruition, parking supply will be adequate in the vicinity of the area, of the arena. And also, we believe that there's adequate buffer room and additional parking, if needed, to protect against personal carpooling choices as well as concurrent events. And our last finding is that parking regulations in Chinatown could be modified to discourage arena goers without adversely affecting business operations. So to close out the traffic, we want to stress that we believe the mode split goals are attainable, but it's going to require extensive planning, cooperation, and investment.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to turn it over to the economic and fiscal team.
Hey everybody, my name is Brian Cohn. I'm a senior consultant at CSL International. We are a sports and entertainment consulting firm based out of Frisco, Texas. We have been around for 30 years and have over 2,500 project experience across major league, minor league, collegiate sports, and other entertainment venues. We've worked with over 2/3 of major league arenas around the country, and we've worked with a number of projects in the Philadelphia area, including the Wells Fargo Center, the Philadelphia Union, and Temple University. Now, the scope and goals of our project were to estimate the incremental events to the market as a result of the presence of a new arena and estimate the net new tax revenue and economic impacts of the arena itself. We are also assessing the ability of the Philadelphia market to support a second arena, and then also assessing the financial feasibility of the arena itself. In terms of our methodology, we began with a site visit of the proposed arena site. We met with project stakeholders as well as evaluated current estimates proposed by the 76ers. We evaluated the overall market capacity for the new arena based on a number of factors, including the demographic and socioeconomic indicators of the local and regional market, a review of the comparable markets in terms of comparable major league markets that have both a single arena or multiple arenas. We had a discussion with Comcast Spectacor, who runs Wells Fargo Center today, and we did independent interviews with industry professionals and other event promoters on a regional and national scale. And overall, we took all of this market research and we developed an independent operating financial model and an economic and fiscal impact model based on our market knowledge and experience. And finally, we worked with the city finance team and with PIDC to understand the Philadelphia tax structure and to ultimately project tax revenues. Now, we have a couple key findings. Ultimately, when it comes to taxes, we do believe that the net new events generated by the presence of the new arena would drive new tax revenues. Specifically, over the course of construction and 30 years of operation, we've estimated $390 million on a net present value basis, including about 200 of which goes to the city and 50 million to the school district. We did run a sensitivity analysis in case the events that we projected come in a little bit higher and a little bit lower. And overall, across all sensitivities, there was always a positive fiscal impact. And we also estimated economic impacts to the city, so total economic output, which we've estimated over that same period of time, construction and 30 years of operations, at $1.9 billion and over 700 full-time equivalent jobs. In terms of the arena itself, we did determine that Philadelphia does have the capacity to support 2 arenas based on demographics, based on the comparable market benchmarkings, historical precedent in growth of events, and direct input from event promoters. However, if there is a second arena, there will be increased competition for the Wells Fargo Center, especially for events, premium seating sales, and naming rights and sponsorship revenues. And overall, we estimated that with the presence of a second arena, the market would be able to support an additional 53 incremental major events at the arena, inclusive of 35 concerts. And then ultimately, based on our financial modeling, we believe the arena would be a financially feasible and profitable enterprise for the 76ers, but they would have a relatively low rate of return due to the relatively high project costs. But overall, we do think it is a financially feasible endeavor. And that's all I got, and I will hand it over to the design team.
Good evening. I'm David Greisel, principal with Convergence Design. We are a national sports architecture firm located in Kansas City, Missouri. I've personally designed 2.5 major league ballparks, including one on the western edge of this state, and about 6 arenas. Very pleased to be joined tonight by Ian Smith of Ian Smith Design Group, our colleague on this project, and a very knowledgeable local architect who's added his local knowledge to our national perspective on sports architecture. We were engaged about this time last year to review the design proposals that have been submitted by HBSC to the city, and to have an opinion about them. And so our opinions are based on our scope of work, which included our approach, which was to visit the site several times and to carefully review the design proposals that were submitted. Our key findings fall into basically 4 categories: things we are in agreement about, things we'd like more information about, things we're concerned about, and opportunities for further exploration. So I'm going to just briefly touch on each of those 4 areas. In terms of things we agree about, we are in agreement that the Market East area and this particular site is an appropriate location for an NBA arena, given the fact that there are at least 16 other major metro areas in the United States that have downtown arenas in their center city area. We think it's an appropriate use for this part of the city. We also agree that the site will accommodate an NBA arena, although it's a tight fit. We love the loading approach, which is entirely subterranean and accessed off-site, which is a great way to be able to load one of these buildings. And we like the idea that the proposers have suggested of elevating the event floor 1 story above grade so that ground level can be filled with other activities, including things that will activate the street and kind of be 365-day-a-year activities rather than just event day activities. We like the transparency that's proposed on the proposed facade designs, although we have some questions about how exactly that is accomplished. And so in terms of things that we wish there were more information about, we're still a little unclear on some of the building elevations, what materials are being proposed for opaque parts of the building. We are still waiting for detailed plans of the various levels of the arena, except for the ground floor, which we have, to kind of understand better how the arena is actually going to work. While the proposers have made expressions of commitments to sustainability, they haven't specifically said yet what those commitments are, and we'd like more specificity in that area. In terms of areas that we're concerned about, we are, of course, concerned about bridges over public streets. The bridges as proposed are essentially very similar to the current bridges of the Fashion District Mall over 10th Street, which are a little bit large and heavy, and we'd like to see those as light and transparent as possible, as well as special attention given to the character of the street as it passes under the bridge, because we think there's ways to do that that are good, but not always done that way. We are concerned about the apparent lack of public space. Many NBA, NHL arenas, even in center cities, have significant plazas that are associated with them, places for fans to gather before and after games, for rallies to take place. And this site is tight enough that those kind of plazas just really don't exist. So that's a concern to us and something that we would like to see further development on. And we're also concerned that as the plans continue to evolve, that attention be paid to activating that ground floor space in any way that's possible so that it remains active and engaging 24 hours a day, or at least during the hours when people are around. Areas for further exploration include exploring opportunities to create that public space I mentioned earlier, more detail on the design of the facades and exactly what the materials are. Structure is something that's being treated fairly notionally at this point, and we think that to hold up an NBA arena requires a significant amount of structure that probably needs to be shown in the drawings. And the design, as I mentioned, the design and transparency of the bridge is an area that we think merits considerable further exploration. So next steps for us is to simply be available to the city, to continue to offer opinions and advice as additional design information becomes available from the developer team, and to be on call for events like this. Madam Mayor?
Thank you. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, I do want to state for the record and for the benefit of the viewers who are watching at home who could not be here with us today, we do have on-hand language access available. We have sign language being communicated while our meeting is ongoing. We also have this meeting being translated into Mandarin. So again, as it relates to empowering the tool of transparency, I just want to be clear that access, no matter the language that you speak, is readily available to participate on this evening. Now the part that's extremely important to me, and our stenographers are ready. We're going to hear from our speakers in this order, and I'm going to call them in order, about 5 at a time, so that you will, they'll know. Once they finish, you'll just hear the next person. We won't have to keep coming back up. Annie Lowe. Annie is our first speaker. Annie, are you here? Oh, come on, Annie. Annie is our first speaker. Glenn Hing. Glenn, are you here? Glenn is the second. Okay. Holly Ming. Holly's here. Jack Chen. Jack. And James Wang. Those are our first 5 speakers in that order. And I want to say this as well. Whether you like what they're saying or you dislike what they're saying, please, let's just be respectful and let the stenographer get their remarks into the public record. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Annie Lowe, and I'm an attorney at the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. We are proud to represent Asian Americans United in their work in the Save Chinatown Coalition, and I'm here today to express my serious concerns about the proposed arena's disparate racial and environmental impact on Chinatown. But right now, I'm ceding my time so that you have the opportunity to hear from Chinatown's youth. Here with me are Faye and Erica.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fei Liu.
My name is Erica, and we're both high school seniors.
Chinatown is really special to us. We spent our days going to Chinatown after school because that was the only place we could go. Chinatown is a place for the youth because when other places shut us out, Chinatown welcomes us. In spite of racist discrimination like the Chinese Exclusion Act, Asian Americans spent generations building communities like Chinatown. Why is it that today, after all this time, our communities are still under threat? Our schools don't have air conditioning, libraries, or playgrounds. Why should the city let a billionaire's playground destroy Chinatown when our own schools don't even have playgrounds?
Faye and I had the privilege to work with other students and teachers in our school to implement Asian American history as an elective. But with most schools in the Philadelphia region lacking resources, Ginger Arts Center provides a space for youth to have access to educational workshops and teach-ins. Without Chinatown, where would youth go to learn about the history of Chinatown's resistance? Where would youth go to find people like them? Think about the youth who work in Chinatown after a long day at school to provide for their family. Studies have shown that there's evidence for increased indirect displacement for small businesses. When businesses are displaced, what would happen? You would face the issue of losing employment. What do we do then? We carry the responsibility and tradition as youth to defend Chinatown. Chinatown will always be a place for youth. Please, Mayor Parker, don't steal our future.
The Save Chinatown Coalition has invited you on multiple occasions to meet with us to visit this special community. We asked September 2023, we asked January 2024, and we asked in February 2024, we asked in March 2024. In every instance, this request was declined or ignored. We are asking again, before you decide whether our community lives or die, will you come on a tour of Chinatown with us? Will you look into our neighbors' eyes and see their futures? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Glenn Hing. I want to thank Mayor Parker for putting this together. I think it's an important step in the process that she has to go through in making a decision on this project. I was born and raised in Chinatown. I still live here. I've lived through many projects. I lived through the Vine Street Expressway construction. I lived through the commuter rail tunnel construction. I lived through the gallery construction. I lived through the convention center construction. And it's about time to say stop. We can't, you know, it's just a problem here. My personal opinion is I am opposed to this project. They are trying to squeeze this project into this small area. You heard it from the expert. They thought it was a tight fit. So we have to really think about this. We really don't have a lot of space there. If you saw the other day, there was a protest. We had 4,000 people out on the streets putting out our voices out there. Now, if you had a chance to take a look at the pictures, imagine 4 times that amount of people at 10th and Market, 11th and Market. It just can't, it's just not feasible. They talk about people coming in by public transportation. Great idea, okay? Currently, my understanding is 75% of the people drive to games. Then they need to bring it down to 40%. I think that's going to be a very difficult thing to do. And we're talking something that's going to happen down the road, not now, okay? What we need to talk about is the immediate impacts this project is going to have on not just Chinatown, but Washington West, it's just Center City in general. I mean, traffic, the streets in Philadelphia are for good or bad, they're narrow streets. The sidewalks are narrow. They can't handle that type of volume. Okay, the streets can't handle the type of volume that they're proposing. So what do they want to do? They want to widen sidewalks. Okay, how do you widen the sidewalk? You narrow the street. So, I don't know how they can talk out of both sides of their mouth at the same time. And with that, we have a lot of speakers here. I don't want to take up much time, but I just want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Holly Meng. I'm the President and CEO of American Center for Asian Students. Today, I'm representing PCCOU, which is a Philadelphia Chinese Community Organization United. We have about 40 member organizations, majority of them living and working in Chinatown. So Chinatown is very important to us. At the very beginning, when we hear this project, so PCCOU actually gave the opportunity for Sixth Placer to come to Chinatown, talk to our members, introduce, explaining their projects. After the learning about this project, our community actually did a survey. Our members did a survey. We did a research on ourselves. We found out the outcome is our 95% of our members against it. So PCCOU is against this. The top 5 concern we have is traffic, parking, safety, environmental cares, and also the culture and heritage for our Chinatown. And I'm very appreciative Mayor Parker gave us opportunity to listen to the community and listen to the people, the citizens who put her as our leader for the city. So I also want to emphasize that the citizen, the member, the people, the community is much more important than the numbers and research formulas. Thank you, the Mayor. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jack Chan. Well, thank you for the opportunity here. And I'm a food and tech entrepreneur, and along with my partners, and I'm also a owner of 4 restaurants in Chinatown, Bai Wei, Yamishuki, Din Fen Tan, and La Mousse. And, well, thank you. And I'm sure a lot of people enjoy my desserts and authentic Chinese food. And further to support not only the Chinatown businesses and also small business in the city, I'm also serving on the board of Asian American Chamber of Commerce and also the Philadelphia Chinatown Business Association. And tonight we're talking about this arena project. Like the other 6 fans, I love to watch basketball games. But it's very essential when we hear about, constructions, traffic, and many other things. I'm actually here to want to talk about the generation of Chinese immigrants that put so much work and put their soul into building the Chinatown over the decades. And today, Chinatown is not only, the place for dim sum, for Peking duck, and also spicy food, but also we have other like Korean food, Korean restaurant, Vietnamese restaurants. And it's like a place not only we live, we work, but it's a culture center. It's a, heartbeat, built by generations. And these days, well, we encounter many different challenges actually. And today, as a business owner, we actually thinking about how to, getting more people coming to Chinatown, not only, having food, but they're also enjoying their activities in Chinatown. And we actually wanted to, invite you and every one of you to come to Chinatown, not only to taste, to feel, but also to experience the Chinatown. Well, now we have an impact study, but I think only an impact study is way not enough. I mean, not only you, and then I invite every one of you, including mayor and all the council members, to Chinatown and to talk to the people who make, the Chinatown, who made this Chinatown very vibrant and thriving, again. Because for the past, we have all these challenges, but again, thank you for coming, Chinatown, and then keep coming, and then we will talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Wang. I'm President and CEO of Asian Bank in Chinatown. And thank you, Mayor Parker, for creating this opportunity for us to kind of share our experiences and our opinions. Chinatown is a community in every sense of the word. It has schools, senior centers, youth centers, great nonprofits that are geared towards providing services for individuals. There are churches and temples and even a funeral home. Somebody had told me recently that there are 200 plus small businesses and organizations in Chinatown, and that's all true. In my 25 years involved with Asian Bank, what I've noticed, and I guess maybe from my perspective as a banker and having worked with a number of individuals, is that people come to Chinatown to start businesses, to start new lives. I can think back 20 years ago, we worked with a small business owner who started his first fish market. Fast forward, 15, 20 years, he's now owner of several locations and has purchased a number of different investment properties. The point being that Chinatown is a place where people come to get a fresh start. So anything that can potentially impact negatively the business prospects and the development of Chinatown is of concern to us and also to our clients. As a bank, as a lender, and I know there's some financial institutions here today as well. So if a building owner is relying on rents paid by business owners, and if those businesses start to not do well, then they start to fall behind on their rents, and then the banks become a little concerned. So that would impact actually their underwriting. And then if you look at some of the challenges Chinatown is facing, that would actually exacerbate and perhaps speed up the decline of a very vibrant and long-lasting community. People come to Chinatown in Philadelphia to start a life. It is a draw for residents from other states because they feel like the quality of life here is better. The prices are better. They get better services from city government and with the new leadership. So there's a lot going for it. It would be, I really would be interested to see if, any consideration given to the arena, for there to be things that would promote Chinatown businesses, help them grow, and be able to continue to entice other immigrants, because the way the Chinese and the Asian community is in Philadelphia is they're entrepreneur, hardworking. I see it as an opportunity for us to kind of capitalize on that energy and use this as a catalyst to do that. If that's not achievable, then it's probably not a good idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Our next round of speakers, we will have first Margaret Chen, Michael Chow, Vivian Chang, and then Andy Toy, in that order.
Good evening, Mayor Parker and community attendees. I am Margaret Chin, and I'm the Vice Chair for PCDC, the Philadelphia Chinatown Development Corporation, which is the RCO for this community. I am an immigrant who contributed to the city as a lifelong public school teacher administrator, and principal. 38 years with School District of Philadelphia, and I love it. I am a Chinatown resident and a grandmother who wants future generations to experience a thriving Chinatown. I know and I love my community. We vote no on the 76ers place. Our community have spoken. However, let me be clear, we are not naysayers. My daughter, my son, my family are 76ers fans. We love the games, and we want to see the Sixers play and win in this brother city of brotherly love. But we must ask the 76ers, why you put our city and our Chinatown community in this position with no process to vet where the 76ers should play? Philadelphia's very own City Planning Commission has not carried out a planning process to determine what location is best for the city and its residents, nor the best and the highest uses of Market East. This must happen. The city and its residents must have a say in this process. Our organization, PCDC, has steered Chinatown's growth for more than half a century. Working with the City Planning Commission and Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, we have created an authentic cultural and commercial district. Chinatown has thrived under PCDC's urban planning. In 2008, we spent $5 million that positioned Chinatown to experience its greatest period of economic growth. Then the pandemic came. A handful of our businesses are still doing well, but not everybody recovered. To the south of Chinatown, Market East has been an economic failure. We want to see a better Market East that does not put the surrounding communities at risk. The arena project will harm our small businesses. The city's impact study projects that more than 50% of Chinatown's businesses will experience a negative benefit. We're talking about over 155 businesses that will lose. The traffic caused by the arena alone can destroy Chinatown. The City Civic Design Review Committee had determined that even with the revised traffic plan, it was unsatisfactory, and that was last April. There are many more concerns that the city's impact studies point out, and I want to leave you with these final impressions. We are not naysayers at PCDC. We are builders. We are urban planners. We are visionaries. We have implemented multiple neighborhood plans for the betterment of Chinatown. We welcome new developments, but the arena is not the solution that advances or protects Chinatown's future, nor does it contribute to a safer, cleaner, and greener Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, Chinatown is the remaining historical cultural hub with a unique collective of small businesses and residents. We have been around since 1871. We see a bright, long future for us. We believe in one Philly, a united city. So, Mayor, help us grow. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Chow. I am a small business owner in Chinatown for over 40 years. I understanding the challenge our community face. For our neighborhood to survive and thrive, we must address this issue together. This cannot be done just by us alone. We need the city, we need the mayor to help us. And this is not just about an arena. It is about the future of our community and our city. With arena, they will get this getting worse and worse. The list of the issue is very long, but I just only highlight two key concerns. First, parking and traffic has become the top concern in our community survey. A recent impact study also shows that Chinatown business heavily rely on customer who drive. Unfortunately, with future development, we are set to lose the existing parking lot. As a result, customers will go elsewhere, like Northeast Philadelphia, South Philadelphia, and Cherry Hill, such. This is already happening. We need a dedicated Chinatown parking lot. With the city's help, we can create a program such as a free parking program for the customer to bring customer back. Please support us and secure a parking lot. Second, to maintain Chinatown as a culture hub, we need more attraction to draw people in, especially tourists, convention visitors, and out-of-town guests. A panda theme park on the Chinatown stage, such like the cap over I-676, would be a good place. This for the first of its kind of park in U.S. and would attract tourists while benefit the city economy. And thank you very much. Thank you, the mayor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for pulling this meeting together. My family, thank you. My family is a union family. So, something that every union member knows is that an injury to one is an injury to all. Just want to share that. And I actually want to cede my time to a youth that we have in the community, Cynthia. An attack on immigrants communities, an attack on the last community of color in Center City is an attack on us all. And I want Cynthia to share what this community really means to her.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia. Sorry. I'm an immigrant from Indonesia. I came here when I was 8 years old and grew up working class in Point Breeze, South Philly. As a child of immigrant parents, I was the bridge between my parents and the outside world. I was the advocate, the translator. I was their voice at school, in the hospital, in the insurance office. Chinatown was the first place where I didn't have to worry about that. When my dad got sick, he could go to the doctor by himself. At my old school, my parents faced language barriers. When I enrolled at FACS School in Chinatown, my parents could finally speak to administrators about my education. Mayor Parker, you have a son. You know how hard it is to get a child's education needs met in this city. FACS was built by the community in Chinatown North, where previous mayor had tried to put a baseball stadium instead of a stadium and dead parking lots. We have a vibrant school that serves 500 students from more than 20 countries. FACS is the first place where any staff member spoke the same language as me. That same lunch lady has watched me grow since I was in 5th grade. As a child, it is so important to feel seen and heard. FACS did that for me. Chinatown did that for me. I got my first job in Chinatown, and every summer I ran a camp for young kids in Chinatown. I'm still best friends with coworkers from those jobs. We met people of different ages and backgrounds who loved being here. They would always say, "There's no city like this. There's no Chinatown like this." It was like a breath of fresh air. Chinatown is a place that allowed me to explore who I was without having to worry about my parents' safety. My roots and everything that make me me come from this community of people who resisted and fought for young people like me to thrive. The people that I have learned from, all my roots will be gone if this arena is built. Hundreds of people called your office to oppose the arena. Thousands of people signed our petition. Philly is clearly against this arena because it's not worth sacrificing this precious neighborhood. Mayor Parker, is your office keeping track of the calls from Philadelphia residents about the arena? What is the breakdown of calls from Philadelphia residents for and against? Thank you.
Well, thank you. My name's Andy Toy, and I'm the Policy Director at Philadelphia Association of Community Development Corporations, or PACDC. We represent 60 CDCs and neighborhoods across the city, Chinatown being one of them, PCDC. And in a previous life, or not that long ago, I was on the board of PCDC for about 2 decades. Thank you. Cecilia, who's here sitting in front of us, who's a great leader. And thank you, Mayor Parker, for allowing us to have this. And we all see the great passion here. I hope we do that in November for the vote, by the way. But I also think that we all share a care for Chinatown as the jewel of Philadelphia, and that we all care for Chinatown. And whether we're wearing the white shirts or whether we're going to work here, we want to make sure it's preserved. I've just spent a few hours reading through the documents that just came out, and it is a lot. I hope everybody here reads it, by the way, because there's a lot there. Some of it's negative and some's positive. But I think that the traffic and parking is the one thing that I think I focus on that still is unclear, and it could be really, really bad, but we have to figure that out if it actually happens. So I haven't made a decision myself on this. I would also just say that when we talked to the mayor before, we said that Chinatown has issues beyond an arena. Whether the arena happens or not, we need to be able to build more affordable housing in Chinatown. The population, as we saw in the study, has been dropping of Asian Americans and Chinese. And I think that that's a real concern. Having just some storefronts and businesses, which are important, James, but I think it's important that we have a really strong neighborhood and residential community. So we have talked about finding parcels of land, and the mayor has committed to help us, whether this thing happens or not, that we will look for other places where we can build more housing for people in the community and make an even stronger community. Because having worked in community development, we go by the mantra, retail follows rooftops, which means if you have a strong community of residents, you actually build the community of retail and restaurants and businesses. So we're hoping that that can move forward as well. And thank you all for coming out.
Wow, the power of listening. For those, again, who are watching at home and you see us we're looking to the right, the time clock is winding down while folks are speaking, so we get a chance to see where they are. And if you see us looking down this aisle, we're doing so to make sure no one gets here, because the folks who are covering in the back have told us you cannot block this. Got it. Our next speakers, I want to call them in this order. First, Daisy Cruz and Barbara Cherry, if they are present, both of them can come. This is representative of SEIU. The second speaker will be Ryan Boyer, the building trades. Third, Elaine McGuire, IBEW, along with Teller, IBEW. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then from the Carpenters, Lou Giorla and Dan. Oh, did I say it right? All right, I didn't want to screw it up. And Dan McGugan. All right, in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. As she said, my name is Daisy Cruz. I'm Philly born and raised, but I'm also the 32BJ SEIU Mid-Atlantic 1201 district leader that represents over 20,000 members here in Pennsylvania, and 10,000 of those workers actually work here in Center City. Our members are the janitors who clean these skyscrapers, the engineers who keep them running, greet you at the door, and keep you protected as security officers. 32BJ has fought almost every big landlord and corporation in Center City, from South Street to Spring Garden, from 30th Street Station to Penn's Landing. We fought to turn these minimum wage service sector jobs into good union jobs, and we won. Our members live in Philly, north, west, south, northeast, all over Philly. We're from here. 32BJ's mission is to secure jobs with livable wages, strong benefits, and to protect workers' rights. And 32BJ supports building the arena. Our members are watching East Market Street and all of Center City.
Hold on. Excuse me, Daisy, give me a second here, just for a second. Let me just say this to you. For those of you who are communicating how you feel, we're going to have patience. If not, Civil Affairs is here and they will escort you out, but we are not going to boo and be disrespectful. That we won't allow. We've been patient and listened to one constituency. We're going to do the same now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start off again. 32BJ supports building the arena. Our members are watching East Market Street and all Center City lose businesses, lose tenants and jobs. Jobs that our members fought hard to win. We are willing to fight to bring businesses and jobs back into Center City as long as they're going to be good union jobs. These jobs will pay livable wages with health insurance and an opportunity to have a secure retirement. A project of this magnitude will be a powerful job creator that the working class of the city of Philadelphia desperately needs. We cannot let an opportunity like this go anywhere else. Most of our members in Philadelphia are African American, Latinos. Our membership are people of color, born and raised in Philly. They live in working class and work in poor neighborhoods. The livelihood of many of our members depends on the economic health of Center City. We have to rebuild Center City in a way that creates as many good jobs as possible. We believe that the arena would do that. While we want the arena to be built, we also want to do everything that we can to protect Chinatown. Not only is it a neighborhood, it is another economic hub that brings people into Center City. We believe that City Council has the obligation to protect Chinatown, and we will support legislation that would do that. We believe that there is a path forward that will ensure and protect the residents and small businesses of Chinatown and improve the long-term success and stability of the community. We want to protect Chinatown. We want to bring more people back into Center City. We want to protect our jobs, and we want you to support us while we do that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Cherry, and I'm a cleaner in the Fashion District at 9th and Market. This is my 5th year as a member of 32BJ SEIU. After working over 20 years as an educator, at my job we had 2 layoffs because the mall management stated that they were losing money and they couldn't afford to keep the same amount of workers. Now this is scary to me, and it's becoming increasingly common. I'm looking to retire soon, and I have a good union job and with solid benefits, and I do not want to start all over at another job. Now, we need to save Center City, and so many other workers will suffer. It's no secret. All you have to do is walk around where the arena is being proposed to see how empty the businesses are if they are still open. I can see right through the stores because there's no one there. Without the people, there is no business. There are no jobs. If the arena comes, they would create a lot of jobs, and the city will have a lot of revenue. Now, it would be a great help if they're talking about the mayor of New Jersey is talking about bringing our Sixers to New Jersey. No way. I'm a diehard Sixer fan, And why should we give New Jersey all that revenue and jobs when we so desperately need it in Philadelphia? So I'm implored that the city, the Sixers, to make it happen. This is what we need. All this talking about enough is enough. In the meantime, people are losing jobs. And I don't want this to happen. Just say yes, Mayor Parker and City Council. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to preface my comments by saying that, Mayor Parker, this is what leadership looks like. Leadership looks like bringing the community together, both pro and con, so that we can reach a solution that's the best for the city. And I want to start off by saying that I'm Ryan Boyer, and I'm the proud business manager of over 30,000 members on the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council. And I'm also the business manager of Labor's District Council of Philadelphia, Baltimore, and vicinity. Our members work in the convention center. Our members set up this great room with all the technology that you see, with all the carpentry. So I want to give a hand to the union members that work in this building. But I was born and raised in Philadelphia, in the Richard Allen projects and in the Spring Garden projects, where we used to walk to Chinatown. In fact, for me, when I got a good report card, I went to Jose Guy. That was a big thing. And I had a special business, a firecracker business, that I used to sell firecrackers, buy them from down there at wholesale and sell them at retail. But I'm here to support the stadium because we cannot lie to ourselves. If you go to East Market, it is desolate and it is dangerous. And Philadelphia has a distinction of being the poorest, largest big city. We cannot afford to allow $1.5 billion in investment from private to leave Philadelphia. That is not sustainable. We must build that. Yes, is the 9,100 construction jobs. I represent people that work for hourly wages. When it's hot outside, they work in 100-degree weather or 0-degree weather. We're the safest, most efficient workforce in the country. That is the union workforce in the Philadelphia area. But also, we have a solemn commitment to the community to work with them to alleviate the problems that they're saying. We could walk and chew gum. Unfortunately, I can't call it the Philadelphia Fashion District. I got to call it the Gallery. If the Gallery were thriving like King of Prussia Mall, we would have 20 to 30,000 people coming through there a day. So we want an arena to bring that same type of dynamism to East Market so that we can develop more housing, more affordable housing, more public spaces. We can do it because guess what? Investment attracts more investment. That $1.5 billion can quickly become $10 billion, and we can make sure that Chinatown has the culture that it deserves. Me being an African American, we were chased out of South Street. I don't like it. I'm not going to let you get chased out of Chinatown. Let's do this together. Let's build, and let's bring Philadelphia forward so we can have a safer, cleaner, greener, with economic opportunity for all. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right. Okay. Hello, my name is Elaine McGuire, and I am the business rep for Local Union 98. I'm also the president of the Electrical Workers Minority Caucus, and I'm also the senior advisor for Local 98 Women Committee. I am here tonight to talk to you about this excitement over the 76ers place, the world-class new home of the Philadelphia 76ers. On behalf of my boss, IBW Local 98 Business Manager Mark Lynch Jr., I want to extend our gratitude to the 76er Place CEO, David Ottoman, not only for his vision, but also for his resilience, belief, and willingness to work closely with the IBW Local 98 and the Philadelphia Building Trades to make the dream of building the 76th Place a beautiful reality. For us, and our building trades brothers and sisters, 76th Place is an awesome place for construction jobs, where more than 9,000 of them will be working for an entire decade on the project. Like Mayor Parker, I too am an African American, born and raised Philadelphian. I was born and raised in Nicetown. As I look at the skyline of Philadelphia as a 28-year member of Local 98, I also see all of the buildings that went up since I've been doing construction. We have major buildings that went up in Center City, and we can do the same thing with this arena down here downtown. But in order for our we also do recruitment. So part of my job, not only is part of my job is to make sure that it's diversity and inclusion in our union, but it's also visiting Philadelphia and suburban schools to recruit young Black and brown men and women into our apprenticeship program. But in order for our recruitment efforts to work, we need jobs for minorities, Black, brown, women, and men to come into the unions. There is no bigger job to generate this than 76th Place. To the 76ers credit, their commitment to diversity and inclusion in the hiring process, both in the construction and in the operations phases, has been extremely encouraging. As a result, the diverse workforce that will hopefully build and run 76th Place will look like the people in this city. Men and women, all races and all ethnics, just as it should be. You may not know it, but Philadelphia is one of the only handful NBA franchise without a downtown arena. The 76ers needed in order to attract the NBA's best free agents to our city and further cement Philadelphia's growing status as a world-class city. We also recognize that there is some fraction of Philadelphians who are opposed to us building the 76th Place. Some are here tonight. Local 98 and the Philadelphia Building Trades, however, believe that the majority of the concerns opposed have raised. We're concerned. We're concerned, and we do hear you, such as increased traffic. We hear and we understand what you're saying, but the 76ers or the building trades are committed to minimizing the trouble that Chinatown will have. But let us build this. Let us move forward and build it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lou Jorla, and I'm a council representative for the Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, and we represent the Carpenters Union in the Philadelphia area and surrounding counties. We represent upwards of 40,000 carpenters in our entire footprint of our council. I would just start by saying I would like to thank Mayor Parker for creating this opportunity and this forum for us to have this discussion openly, fairly, for everyone to be heard. So thank you. So rising tides lifts all boats, right? Market East has been underdeveloped for far too long. I've seen that as a lifelong resident of this great city. leaving the main connection point between Center City and Old City desolated and plagued with public safety issues. Building 76 Place will give the area a shot in the arm, and the 76ers' commitment to improving public safety around the area will benefit not only the fans visiting the arena, but also the residents and business owners in the surrounding community. The influx of visitors will boost the local economy and help the surrounding restaurants, which, as we heard tonight, are still struggling after the pandemic. On multiple occasions, we've heard that tonight. The development will encourage other companies, restaurants, and businesses to invest in the area. This is our opportunity to end Philadelphia's culture of no. The arena will show the business community that Philadelphia is truly a hub and open for business. Mayor Parker has prioritized having the safest, cleanest, and greenest city in America with economic opportunity for all. 76 Place helps propel the city forward to make that priority a reality. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan McGugan. I'm also a council representative with the Carpenters Union in Philadelphia, and I'm also a current and lifelong resident of the city. As I'm sure everyone in this room knows and everyone viewing on TV, the Parker administration truly is focusing on making Philadelphia the safest, cleanest, and greenest city in America with economic opportunity for all. Keyword, opportunity. My colleagues and I, and many of my counterparts in this room, every single day, that's our goal. That's our mission, is to create opportunity, not only for our members, but for the people in the communities that we work in. This stadium is a rare development project of this magnitude. The stadium is a development project, and it's rare for a project of this magnitude to come to the city of Philadelphia. This potential project will allow all unions to grow their apprenticeship programs and give young men and women the skills that they need to have a sustainable career and to provide for their families. It will give them all an opportunity. These opportunities are not limited to union jobs. The Sixers' commitment to having diverse vendors and businesses in the arena, coupled with an investment to developing those vendors, will create a new generation of business owners to lay the groundwork for a truly equitable economic experience at 76 Place. We need to give everyone this opportunity. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tila Allman, and I'm a program and recruitment coordinator for Rosie's Girls Pre-Apprenticeship Program, and also an instructor and recruitment coordinator for apprentice training for the electrical industry, which is the training arm for IBEW Local 98, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Thank you, Mayor Parker, for inviting me to speak about the great news regarding 76th Place on East Market Street. I'd also like to thank Philadelphia Building Trades Business Manager Ryan Boyer and IBEW Local 98 Business Manager Mark Lynch for their tireless efforts to get this 76th Place built despite some opposition. 32 years ago, my mother took a job doing security at a place called the Gallery and was hurt on the job. Little did she know, I was also on patrol with her. Market East holds an important place in my heart, and I've been a dedicated resident for over 30 years. I also began my working career at 9th and Market Street. I remember the vibrance of East Market Street being underground, the exciting experience of heading down to what is now Jefferson Station. It was the place to be when I was in high school. I went to high school on 22nd and Arch. And it was the place to be years before that, when my mother also worked in the same building while pregnant with me that I later received my first paycheck in. I'm proud that this history is in my blood. Before I became a union electrician, this is where I began to shape my future. And it's amazing what can be created in 30 years because of the change one day can make. The benefits of 76th Place are significant. It represents the largest development project that Philly has seen in 50 years. For those of us in the Philadelphia building trades, 76th Place will generate over 9,000 good-paying union jobs. With the benefit and advantage of award-winning apprentice and pre-apprenticeship training programs we have in the trades that are available in our city, we will ensure a steady stream of highly skilled union construction workers that this massive development project will require. Like I said, the benefits of 76th Place are significant, generating $400 million in annual economic output for the city and millions of dollars for over 30 years for our school district. It will lead to improved infrastructure with the inclusion of shops, bars, restaurants, and upscale condos. The complex will revitalize the long dormant Market East corridor, while also building a future so that 30 years from now, we can continue the tradition of vibrance in our underground stations and build a future in a city that deserves the exciting experience of positive economic growth. With additional lighting and foot traffic, this will bring an increase to public safety. Best of all, the construction of 76th Place will come at no cost to city taxpayers. IBEW Local 98 and our brothers and sisters in the building trades sincerely hope to build our beloved 76ers Place and for our beloved 76ers to have a place for their championship arena that their team needs and long deserves. Obviously, I have braids in my hair, so from Allen to Tyrese, from Dikembe to Joel, it's amazing what can be created in 30 years. It's even more amazing the difference a day can make. Please help us write the next chapter of our city. I thank you, and go Sixers.
Thank you. The next speakers will come in this order. Mo Rushdie from the BIA, Ben Connors from the GBCA, and we will close this segment out with our speakers, with Reverend Dr. J. Henry Buck, Jr., representing the African American Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity. I wanted today to bring with me Dawood Bey, who's a partner with us at the BIA and a developer in the city of Philadelphia. We've been talking about the arena and building the arena in the center city and what it would do for neighborhoods and communities of color, and how it would be encouraging a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to go to South Philly to be at walking distance from that arena. It will open up the opportunity for a lot of black and brown developers that we have a big commitment at the BIA to encourage, to build more, to have more contractors of color, to have developers, to have more builders of color. And Dawood is an example of what we have been seeing in the media, what he has been doing over the last couple of years in the city of Philadelphia. We are trying to grow the diversity of the city. Our brothers and sisters of the unions have been partners with us growing this city, and we feel that the need for diverse contractors and diverse people being able to walk to the arena, to work and have jobs building this arena is extremely important. And I wanted to introduce Dawood Bey as well.
Thank you, Mo Rushdie. Thank you, Mayor, for having us today. I'm a long-term resident of Philadelphia, born and raised in South Philadelphia. Dave Zinkoff, everybody remember him? You know, the day that Dave Zinkoff said, you know, from the University of Massachusetts, Julius Erving, I was a fan. So I'm speaking from a fan as far as Philadelphia and the Philadelphia 76ers. I just can't really call the Sixers the Camden 76ers, y'all. You understand? So I just wanted to let y'all know that as an African-American developer and contractor in the city of Philadelphia, this is a major opportunity. I wanted to thank the mayor for opening up the panel, whereas it's not just a discussion just between the Chinatown community, because it's not just going to impact the Chinatown community, it's going to also impact Philadelphia. It's going to impact South Philly, West Philly, North Philly. There's a lot of opportunities for diversity and inclusion here, and I believe it's probably somewhere in the tune of maybe $300 million that's going to actually impact the black and brown communities. So I just wanted to, thank Mayor Parker for, giving us the opportunity, because, again, even these rooms right here, I still think we're a little bit underrepresented as far as the African-American community, but this is an opportunity for us to get our voice out here, and I just wanted to thank y'all and let y'all know that, blacks, brown people in the city of Philadelphia is 100% in support of the arena. Thank you.
Go Sixers, go Arena.
You? Is this Dawood's? Well, good evening. I'm Ben Connors. I'm the President and CEO of the General Building Contractors Association. And at GBCA, we're proud to represent over 350 small businesses, general contractors, subcontractors, and construction service firms that build union throughout the greater Philadelphia region. We also want to say thank you to Mayor Parker. In the end, a decision will be made, and whether or not that's the decision you want, you can't say this hasn't been an open, transparent, and thorough process. So, Mayor Parker, we appreciate you and your willingness to engage this process thoroughly. Opportunity can be uncomfortable, and make no mistake about it, this creates a moment of friction and discomfort, but that's also a sign that this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for jobs, countless good, family-sustaining union jobs. It's an opportunity for small businesses not only to build this arena, but to maintain it and to service arena for generations. It's an opportunity to bring people into our city so they can see all that this city has to offer. And it's an opportunity to bring revenue that this city desperately needs into it. $390 million in tax revenue, $1.9 billion in economic impact. That is something this city desperately needs, and so we have to recognize this opportunity to address those needs today. These opportunities don't come around very often, and we really cannot afford to let them slip through our fingers. If you want this city to grow, you want this city to thrive, this is what it looks like. We need this, and we need it now. GBCA supports 76th Place. Thank you for your time.
Greetings in the name of the one who was, the one who is, and the one who is surely to come. We bring you greetings from the African American Chamber of Commerce, while our president, Mrs. Regina Hairston, is absent, but I am standing in her stead. My name is Reverend Dr. J. Henry Buck, Jr. I am the pastor of the Grace Baptist Church of Germantown. Many of you may or may not know. It is the place where Jeremiah Wright, Jr., father pastored for over 30-some years. Also, my predecessor, Reverend Dr. G. Daniel Jones. I'm here on this afternoon to say that the African American Chamber of Commerce supports the effort of 76th Place. Why? There was a study that was done by the University of Georgia, the Seelig School of Business, in 2021. And in that particular study, it talked about the different races coming together and how the multicultural impact of economics, there has been a rise amongst African Americans, Latinos, and Asians. Now, you give a microphone to a black preacher, he has to be prophetic, even in this discourse. In many of our communities, there are Asian bodegas, Chinese stores, selling food on our corners, of which we have welcomed. But there has been no discourse for reinvestment into the African American community. When we come to things like this, we are always having to put our things aside and to address the needs and concerns of others. Well, we think this is a time in which that barrier needs to be broken down, And even as the words of Victor Hugo says, he says, there is a time in which an idea is too important to pass. And we think that this particular arena is too important to pass in a city that is considered large but have high numbers of poverty. I suggest to you, my brothers and sisters, be you Asian, Hispanic, African American, Negro, whatever you call yourself, now is the time for Philadelphia to take a stand and become a world-class city, because when we look at the future of this city, there are great things that are ahead, and we're grateful to have the first African-American female mayor in 100 years. I say to you, even in the words of the great Martin Luther King, how long will prejudice blind the vision of men, darken their understanding, and drive bright-eyed wisdom from her sacred throne? When will wounded justice, lying prostrate on the streets of our cities, be lifted up from this dust of shame to reign supreme among the children of men? When will the radiant star of hope be plunged against the nocturnal bosom of this lonely night and plucked from weary souls the manacles of death? How long will justice be crucified? And if truth be told, not long.
Oh, he said, is Mark Lynch from Local 98 here? I did not. Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to exclude you. I didn't realize you were here.
How's everybody doing? I promise I'll be quick. I'll be 1 minute. I'm going to start out by thanking Mayor Parker. They're giving me 20 seconds, so I guess I got to hurry up. It's just set up, yeah. My name is Mark Lynch. I am the business manager for IBW Local 98, the Electricians Union in Philadelphia. To Teola and Elaine, round of applause for them. They are incredible leadership for the future of the city of Philadelphia. I stand here obviously in support of construction. That's what I get paid to do, and that's everything I believe in. But we have the opportunity now to not only build a state-of-the-art arena, but to shape the future of the city. Fix an area of Market Street that needs fixing, and we all know it. It's simple. We have a gallery that could have chains around it if this thing's not built. We can all understand that. We have a Wanamaker building that's $120 million in debt. It's the truth. This isn't about one project. This is about a $2 billion investment, and this is about the next $6 to $8 billion coming to the city, putting the men and women to this work for the next 30 years. That's what this is about. So when we sit here and we don't all have to agree on everything, right? But the point is, we have a building, we have the ability to build a $2 billion stadium with $6 billion investment coming to the city. And yes, those people that come to that stadium and shop around there will be investing their dollars, their hard-earned dollars, in the community surrounding areas. Thank you.
Let the record reflect that we did not just give Mark 40 seconds. He took 40 seconds. I don't want you saying we were shortchanging you. So can I just start by saying this? Excuse me. Didn't get there yet. Want to say this. On the trail, campaign trail, as a member of the City Council, watched a whole lot of meetings take place around this project. Saw none function like this. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And to the stenographers are saying thank you very much, because they could hear and make sure they could get in the record the perspectives of everyone who spoke on tonight. Now I am waiting for the 5 additional speakers. I have some cards of some folks who, now these are coming directly from the audience. I'm waiting. Okay, so what they've just informed me of is that they're going to have a line in the center and then a line on the side. Be patient. People are going to come in. The clock is on 2 minutes for every speaker. For anyone who is watching at home, the microphone will cut off after 2 minutes. And even if someone continues to speak, the stenographer won't be able to add their additional remarks into the record because they won't have any sound. And again, don't forget the rules of engagement. Whether you like what's being said or not, we want to listen to everybody because we want what you're saying to go into the record. For everyone who is going to speak, Councilman Squilla, when we go back to the council rules, please make sure you state your name for the record so people will know who you are. They're bringing microphones. Hello? You have a microphone? Okay. You have one? We're going to start with this gentleman here, and you're going to just stay in the center, or are people coming over here as well? Okay, you can come straight or on my right hand side. I'm not going to come back. We'll just keep until 2 minutes, until this portion is up.
My name is Wei Chang. I'm an immigrant to the U.S. from China when I was 16. I'm here today because Chinatown raised me. Like many of immigrants, I don't speak English when I first came to U.S. Chinatown is the only place I can go to for help with my language, like tax filing, job searching, apply for medical cares. Chinatown is always a place I go to for pray. Chinatown is where we celebrate Holy Festival, holiday like Mid-Autumn Festival, Lunar New Year. After I left China, I thought I would never be able to celebrate my culture again. I dreamed of seeing these festivals in my culture in new home. Chinatown making my dream possible. This is making many immigrants feel like home. Chinatown is not just a commercial area for tourists. It's a home for Chinese immigrants, Asian American, older children. This is our spirit center. It's our culture bridge connecting one generation after another generation, a community to another community. Mayor Parker, as you mentioned, you grew up in the working class neighborhood. You should know what it looked like to be count out. You know what it's like to be we have to fight for the threat with the dignity and the respect. In Chinatown, we are very tired of fighting with the dignity and the respect. For over 50 years, we have defended our neighborhood's right to exist. We fought against highway, convention center, stadium, casino, and now arena. This building we are here being displaced 200 business and 200 home. And we are here today to let you understand another citywide poll showing that more than 69% Philadelphia opposes this arena.
Okay, excuse me. Thank you. I want to say this to you all. Is it 8:20? Yes. It is 8:20 now. Let me say this. We are going to listen because I want to manage expectations here. We are going to stop this portion of our meeting at 8:50. At 8:50, and everyone will have 2 minutes. If we don't get to you, we are not excluding you. We make a commitment to you that every question is going to be registered into the record, and all of the people who filled out these cards, we are not going to be able to answer your questions on today. But the stenographer will make sure that these questions are a part of the public record and that they are a part of what we will use to inform our decision making. So start the clock, and we're just going to marathon and rotate between both sides. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Brittany Whiteley. I am a resident of Chinatown and a regular visitor to the neighborhood. When I first moved to Philly a few years ago, Spaces such as the bar Cockatoo, Giovanni's Room, really helped me make friends, find queer community here in Philly. And many of these people, many of these friends that I've made feel very similarly about these spaces. They are valuable places for queer folks to meet up and connect with each other. Having an arena right next to the neighborhood would decimate these queer-owned small businesses and push out the queer folks who depend on the neighborhood for health care, for the fine community, and many other things. And yet this is barely mentioned in the recently released studies on the proposed arena. Mayor Parker, I know that you're an ally to the queer community and you value our voices. Today, I am asking you to continue to stand with the queer community and oppose this predatory development that will irreparably harm the spaces we use to find community and support from other queer people. Thank you.
You see, we're going back and forth. We can't forget. They can see us too. We also have a line in room 115. Will Mega is standing there, so we're going to be rotating between different rooms. Sorry. Can you all?
And I just want to say I've been in the gallery from October 1st, 2019. And I came to Fashion District September 20th, 2019. Anyway, most of the businesses are closed because they're afraid of the 76ers, and I support, the 76ers, I'm gonna tell you that. But that's not the issue. The issue is like, we're here paying rent at a real high, and we're not making no money because nobody's walking through the gallery. So please help us, make sure that we're either go to the 76ers and open up a store there, and so we can make some money there, or we just need to make money to support our family. We've been there. I'm going to take one more turn. Anyway, so we've been there all these years, and we just need to be here. We've been here since 1991, and I just want to say, and Councilman Squealer, he helped us make sure that when they closed down the gallery, that the SEPTA gave us a cart until we went to the Fashion District. So if Squealer's still here, thank you very much. And I just want to be part of making sure that the unions reach out and that we all be part of the new 76ers or the new Fashion District or whatever, and we're going to get. Thank you very much.
Oh.
No.
Okay, my name is Janet.
1 second. Go ahead.
They're rotating. They're rotating. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to another
Point of
one.
interest before you start the clock. Mr. Boyer was given 3 minutes and 42 seconds. The Rev was given 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So respect the request, 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. Madam Mayor, thank you for your leadership at allowing for this meeting to happen. The decision that's being made pertaining to the arena at Market East will impact this great city for 3+ decades. The decision will primarily impact Chinatown, Washington Square, and of course our great union members. I'm not advocating either side, but I have a message for both sides. As you've been in office for less than 10 months, Madam Mayor, the people and the community don't have many data points as to whether to trust your leadership in a consequential issue, such as this. If you look at your policy decision against the previous 4 mayors over 32 years to cut funding for SSP, that's syringe exchange, that yes, you saved $900,000, but the study, evidence-based study, shows that the state's going to lose $250 million a year. Maybe not the city, but the state, everybody. So my question is, why should everyone trust you to make the right decision when you didn't use evidence-based strategies to make that decision? And you talk about bullying. You're the bully. You bullied the community. You're the bully. I met with Adam Field. Oh, he listened, but they didn't do a damn thing. The topic is you can't trust this mayor to make the right decision. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Oh, last thing. You said you would debate anybody, anytime. I've asked for a debate, you refused to do it. You're a liar, Mayor Chief.
No, excuse me.
I gave-
5 seconds left. Excuse me.
I gave him an hour.
5 seconds left. Let him finish.
Okay, so you said you'd debate the topic when you spoke at the Apollo. I've asked many times, and you've denied that for me and other people to debate the topic. Why should they trust you when you're not a woman of your word? Thank you.
Thank you. Over here? Yes, ma'am.
I gave him an hour.
Good evening. My name is Mary Graham. I'm Executive Director at Children's Village, a high-quality center located in 8th and Arch since 1976. 48 years we've been there. We've been there educating children from the Chinatown and downtown community. I see the shirts that say, pro-jobs, pro-union. Children's Village is a unionized child care center. We have high-quality paid teachers. We educate the children of Chinatown and downtown. The issue isn't, are we against an arena? The issue is, where should that arena be? So we want Philadelphia to be a high-class city. I want downtown Philadelphia to be a high-quality program because we lived through the garment industry demise. That's who started us, the garment industry, and they're gone. But the issue is, where should it be? And we should not be talking about black and brown communities against Asian communities. We're talking about life for children and families in downtown Philadelphia and in all of Philadelphia. We want a high-quality center, but I listened to that very first speaker, those young students who said, we don't have air conditioning in our schools. That's a disgrace. We need. So please, Mayor Parker, thank you for having this. Thank you for listening. We will dialogue together. But again, it's not no arena, it's but where should the arena be? Thank you.
I'm Janet Fishman. I live on 51st Street in West Philadelphia since 1988. I will be sending in my contesting my property tax this week. So I have one main question. I've listened to people speaking to preserve Chinatown, and I had to listen sympathetically to people from the building trades and other groups saying we need something, we need jobs, and people from Market Street saying we need to develop that area because it's dying. I remember the Great Gallery, I remember the Bourse, it's not that way anymore. My question is, why, looking at this situation, did one offer come in from the 76ers, and that's the one we have to debate? Why weren't stakeholders from all these different groups brought together and asked, what can help this part of town? What would you like to see? Why weren't all those groups brought together to come up with many different possible ideas that could make that part of town vibrant?
I'm sorry, can you also, okay, good. Room 119, yes, you have the yellow card in your hand.
Oh, great. Hi, Mayor Parker and staff. My name is Jasmine Chu. I wanted to share my experience living a few blocks south of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. For those of you who don't know, the Barclays Center is home to the Brooklyn Nets, which is another basketball team. I cannot express to you how much I hated living in that area. The traffic day in and day out, the car exhaust that polluted my indoor air, the noise that pierced my ears every night, hindering my sleep, that I had to wear earplugs every night. I don't want this for Philadelphia or my neighbors. Studies show that these factors negatively impact life expectancy. Chinatown needs investment, yes, but this 76ers arena is not the answer. Please listen to the people of the city and the hordes of people that showed up to reject this project. Thanks for having us here.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor, for having this session. And I want to thank the person who ever texted me because I would not have known about this. Matter of fact, I was in Atlantic City, and so I took a bus here to be here. I am in support of the 76ers. I'm in support of it. I live 4 blocks away from the gallery, well, the old gallery. I do remember many years ago when I was young, I look forward to coming to Center City. I remember Litz, Strawbridges, Snellingburg, Wanamaker's, Gimbel's, the parade coming down Market Street, and climbing the ladder to Gimbel's. Market Street is dead. We got to get it back to life again. We have to do that. Make it safe like it used to be from City Hall all the way to the waterfront. Please, please, please allow the 76ers to come into the gallery. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Parker. Thank you so much for hosting this town hall community meeting. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Sim Lo. I am a public policy specialist specializing in early educations. I used to work at Children's Village for over 10 years as a family partnership coordinator. Over the years, I see Chinatown as a resource hub. When the city is experiencing public health crisis, Chinatown step up, AAU, PCDC, we all come together to support the outreach effort that the city needed. And now is the time that makes me think, what if all these resources go away? Because these resources are not just for the residents of Chinatown, they are for residents from across Philadelphia. As a family partnership coordinator, I do home visitings. I've been to North Philly, I've been to Kensington, I've walked through streets where needles are, I have been in South Philly, I've been everywhere in Philadelphia. And those resources, thank you, and those resources are for Philadelphians. They're not just for the residents of Chinatown. My concern is if Chinatown is being impacted and removed, all these resources will go away and it will be a disservice for Philadelphians, not just the residents of Chinatown. And speaking of pro-job, pro-unions, we are the support behind the workforce. Chinatown is a support behind different workforce. I'm sorry, I'm sensitive at times. So let's just be clear. This is not about we are pro-job, we are pro-unions. As Mary said, it's just a matter of where the arena should be built. It shouldn't be a sacrifice of a community that's already so stable and has everything a person needs from birth to death. It shouldn't be like that. There must be a solution to it. I'm sorry, I'm just looking. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. And I would love...
This is Dave Katz. I've been a resident of Wash West for 37 years. I've also worked at 11th and Market for 32 years, so I'm very familiar with the neighborhood. I'm here in support of the Sixers Arena for several reasons. One, it's going to bring a vibrancy to Market East that's really desperately needed. Secondly, it's going to be great for the fans. No longer will we have to drive cars down to a stadium, big parking lots. We can walk, we can take public transportation, which is the way we should attend ball games. I think it's going to be great for tourists when they're visiting our city to have a great arena with entertainment and sports just a few blocks away from their hotels. And lastly, I think it's going to be a boon for businesses in the city that need help coming back after the pandemic. I am old enough to remember the objections to this very building in the early 90s. People said this building would destroy the fabric of the neighborhood, would create traffic problems and bring crime. And here we are with a beautiful building, an economic engine for the city. That's wonderful. I am no fan of casinos whatsoever, but the same objection was made to Sugar House, which is now Rivers. It will destroy the community, it will bring crime and traffic, and it hasn't. That neighborhood is prospering. I'm not here to say that the Sixers proposal is perfect, because it's not. You really do have to address traffic. That is a serious and legitimate issue. Also, you have to keep the Sixers honest about their commitment to the community. They have to help the community with issues surrounding cleanliness and lighting and safety. This is a great opportunity to leverage the $1.5 billion investment with an ongoing investment in the community to make Chinatown even better. The Sixers Arena is great for the city. Please don't give in to NIMBY, not in my backyard. Let's move the city forward. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you. I have some notes here. Hello, Mayor Parker. Oh, am I on? Hello, Mayor Parker. My name is Brendan Maddox, and I live at 9 North 9th Street in the middle of the area most impacted by the construction of the arena. I have read the traffic study, and I'm very concerned that the assumptions that have been made for post-event control are unrealistic. While the Sixers are hopeful that ridership on SEPTA will increase with the construction of the stadium, they have explicitly gone out of their way to say that they cannot guarantee it. Even in the study's best-case scenario, with a 40% of the crowd riding to the game, the chaos created by the traffic will negatively impact our corner of Philadelphia, and so I ask you to deny DevCorp's request for city support and keep the arena out of Chinatown.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I was actually supposed to be up there speaking, and I was missed, but I do want to have an opportunity to share a little bit. Again, like you, born and raised in Philadelphia, still live in Chinatown. I serve within Chinatown. And one of the big things for me that drove me, and again, Councilman Squilla, in September of 2022, we went down to Washington, D.C. to look at the Capital One Arena. And the area is terrible. I don't know if anybody's been there, but the area is terrible. And after 25 years, that project and the effects on the community, it started with legislation that protected the community. They said, oh, you need to have signs above, Chinese signs above Chipotle, Fuddruckers, and whatnot. They probably had a height restriction too, a 6-story or 100-foot height restriction on the city, on that project. And when after 25 years, that project has really demonstrated what it affected to that community. Washington, D.C. was very similar to our community. My relationship with those who have moved out, again, same situation. They were promised a lot of things. And you have an opportunity to step up and protect our community, because you're our only hope. You're our hope. I know Councilman Squilla, councilman within the city, the mayor, you have a decision to make, and it's difficult, but you're looking at giving up our community for a project that we don't really need. $400 million was put into Comcast, a Wells Fargo Center, and they have future expansion. So for the building trades, you've heard that they're trying to build around the South Philly Sports Complex. Have the stadium where it should be, in South Philly.
Oh, I'm ready. Madam Mayor, I want to thank you right off the bat by having this conversation, because I believe that public servants are advocates of the people, and the people need you now more than ever. I believe you are especially needed in situations where there are power imbalances, and I believe that predatory developments cause power imbalances. And I want to be so clear. I am pro-union. I am pro-seeing market look a little bit better. I am 100% those things, but I am anti-arena, because when developers build without proper regard for the culture of the neighborhood they endeavor to inhabit, or that would be impacted by them, as is detailed in the community impact study, energy our communities lose. And I know this because I saw it happen in my cultural community, the Gayborhood, which I also fear would be put into peril from this development. When the Midwood Investment and Development painted over the mural of Gloria Cesares at the 12th Street Gym without any notice to the city of Philadelphia or mural arts, it was a stark example of a developer disregarding community ties. That mural was not just made by a mural artist either. It was made by the late wife of this woman. It was made by the the currently living of the family members of this woman, and the artist also had provisions so that she would be able to preserve and take down a lot of those parts of the mural. However, even though we knew the building was going to be torn down, they, for some reason, painted it, quite literally whitewashing her out of existence. Contrast with Jim's. Jim's suffered a fire. The Four Eyes Gallery suffered a fire. Instead of absorbing it and getting rid of it, they made sure to preserve that iconic piece of South Philly architecture, an iconic piece of Philadelphia. The Sixers stand at a unique intersection of being backed by powerful, deeply motivated, moneyed entities and iconic Philly businesses. We're asking them to be mindful of the communities they're developing in and across those communities, from Chinatown to the Gayborhood to Washington Square West, to nearly 70% of voters that say, Philadelphia voters who were polled, we say no arena in the heart of our city. Please, we're not saying no arena, we're saying please, please consider somewhere else. Thank you.
Please state your name for the record.
Yes. Hello, my name is Yasha Goldentire. I really want to thank Madam Mayor Parker for having this. It's really important that we realize there are many different kinds of stakeholders. Some of them have a lot to say. They have big money behind them. Some of them, no one is speaking for it all. I want to speak for the people that are the most economically disadvantaged and vulnerable people in Center City, Philadelphia, the elderly and displaced and disabled on fixed incomes. When their rents go up, they're going to be homeless, scores of them. There's no reason that we should be having to make these choices. We're acting as if the great people of Philadelphia have a poverty of options here. I mean, we could develop the Market East District as a biochemical district, for example, or something else that would create great jobs, homes, many, many, many great jobs for people. We could build the arena elsewhere in another neighborhood that's not going to decimate a neighborhood and literally put the poorest residents of Center City homeless. And there's talking about people that are not stakeholders, that are not considered. It's not just going to affect people east of Broad. People living 4, 5, 6 blocks away, west of Broad, will be affected. There's a lot of people in the Center City. People say, oh, everyone in Center City is a millionaire. There are seniors, there are disabled people that are hanging on in Center City. And when the rents go up, they're not going to be able to afford to live in any neighborhood. There's no reason that we have to have this particular development when we can make other developments that will make the city thrive, provide blessed jobs for people, not displace people into literal homelessness when they're getting older, and also preserve one of the great neighborhoods of this country. Thank you, Mrs. Mayor, and thank you. I'm trying to speak to the heart of you, Mrs. Mayor, and also to you, Councilman Squilla. People's lives are at risk, the people who will be homeless, the most economically disadvantaged. Please don't forget them. God bless you all. And I respect everyone who came here tonight. And I am very pro-union.
You hold it. Okay, so I just want to say, we know from economists, we know that there's information all over the place. You have access to this information, that there is no net gain, that this type of endeavor is not going to create businesses, it's just going to transfer spending to corporations. We've seen it happen everywhere. You know that that's what's going to happen because you have very smart people working for you. Now, this is not an accusation. I want to ask the mayor directly, will you be personally benefiting from this deal? We know that there are millions and millions and millions, billions of dollars of dark money in campaigns. This presidential campaign, they're going to spend $1 billion or so. Are you going to be, am I too loud? My bad. Are you going to be personally benefiting from this? I'm pro-union. I'm pro-union. Unions built this country. These union leaders are elected officials. They have to go back to their people and say, look what I got for you. Look what I got for you. What happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if the jobs aren't created? Listen, I grew up in D.C. Chinatown has been decimated in D.C. It is a corporate wasteland of Chipotles and fucking Starbuckses. I don't want that for Chinatown. Am I done? I got 30 seconds. Fuck the Sixers. Fuck them. Fuck them. No disrespect. No disrespect. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sam. I am an immigrant from Vietnam. I've been live and do business in Chinatown over 40 years. So I know what we need. We don't need the arena in Chinatown. All right? I will show you what traffic look like in the weekend. I got 2 cameras in front of my store. All right? The proposal they do on the traffic starting is wrong. I can tell one time, my home is on 9 Collar Hill. One time the auto show, I could drop something to my store. When I walk, only take 10 minutes. That day, it took me an hour and a half on Vine Street to Ray Street. Got so frustrated. Just an auto show. Can you imagine it? Arena been built? It's a nightmare. Traffic is a nightmare now. Okay? So here to all the elect officers, okay, please make the right choice. I got stories to tell my grandchild later on from 10 years now. I fight for my community. Win or lose, I still fight for it, okay? So, what to tell history? What did you tell your grandchild, your history? You got power to do something, decision, but don't make a wrong decision, okay? Please, say us. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Shoulder at 1 minute. Is that okay with you?
At 3 minutes is 8:50. In 3 minutes is 8:50.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Asantua Nkrumah Toure. I'm an organizer with the Philadelphia Tenants Union and the Justice for Angel Davis Now campaign. I'm here today from among the 69% of the people of this city who are opposed to the new arena. We are not here to beg. We are demanding no arena. This is nothing more than a racist land grab. We say no to the billionaires that do not live or vote in Philadelphia. Why are we doing all this for a team that has not won a championship in almost 40 years? So we're here to defend Chinatown. We say yes to Chinatown because we know if Chinatown goes, who's next? If Chinatown goes, what happens to Little Africa in West Philadelphia? If Chinatown goes, what happens to Germantown, where our beloved Frankie Beverly grew up? So we say no, but respectfully I say to the black folks who are supporting the 76ers, I'm embarrassed to be a proud black woman right now because this is nothing Dr. King or our civil rights movement would have done. How can you have black folks aligning themselves with gentrifiers so that billionaires can become even greater billionaires? We defend Chinatown. We're not begging. Thank you so much.
So Will, don't move. So 115 and 119, don't move. The speakers who are at the podium right now in 115 and 119 are the last 2 speakers. After we hear from these 2 speakers, everybody who is in line, promise me that you will not fall out of order right now. The staff is going to come to those who are in line. They're going to ask you to give us your contact information, to write whatever the comment or question to the best of your ability that you possibly can, and give it to us. And we are going to make sure that your your comments, your questions, your concerns, they will be made a part of this public record because we will give them to the stenographer. Some folks didn't understand why I said we needed stenographers. I said when you've been here and you've done this kind of meeting before, you know you need to have someone who has the ability to give you notes of testimony so that every position expressed is reflected in what I would call the minutes of the meeting. So I don't want anyone standing up being disappointed. You may not have gotten to the microphone, but your message, your concerns will add and be a part of this decision making. Will, Mega of room 115 and then 119, you're going to close us out.
Hi, my name is Alex Jin, and I'm here to talk about numbers. So earlier today, we heard some folks from CSL say that the new arena will generate $50 million for Philadelphia school districts. That sounds pretty good. Now, what they didn't say is that those $50 million will be paid to the city over the course of 30 years in a pilot plan. That's payment in lieu of taxes. What they didn't say is that those $50 million under their current plan will mean the 76ers won't have to pay property taxes on this new arena. And if the estimates used by CSL themselves are correct, then that means the Sixers will be saved from a property tax bill of $14 million a year. Over 30 years, that's a total of $420 million of property taxes that should be going to our school districts, not paid by a billionaire. My question to Mayor Parker and the rest of the city is, why is your policy for getting ACs into our school districts praying for Jalen Hurts to donate more units instead of making billionaires pay their fair share? Why are we giving a billionaire a $370 million tax break instead of fixing our underfunded school districts? Like everyone else here, I'm pro-union, and for the rest of my time, I want to say to the union folks, my question for you is, why this billionaire? What makes you think that this billionaire is different? This billionaire promised hundreds of jobs in their Camden practice facility. They got a $50 million tax break there. They generated 11 new jobs. 11 new jobs for $50 million. What do you think they're going to do to our tax money? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robert McLaughlin. I'm a long-term resident of Fox Chase. I'm a retired physical therapist, and I'm not necessarily saying we should build in Chinatown, but what's not working is I'm partially disabled now. I have trouble walking. I can't drive because of my eyesight. So the stadium down in South Philadelphia doesn't work for me anymore. I have trouble walking from the subway to the stadium. I can't drive to the stadium anymore unless it's a daytime game. So what I like about this location, and it could be in another location, is accessibility by public transportation, which does one other thing, which is a very strong desire on my part to reduce the carbon footprint. Okay? So that's why I want it in a similar type of location. One other point is when they were developing the Phillies stadium, there was a lot of protesting down there. I used to eat at Charles Plaza on a regular basis. Charles was a dear friend of mine. I asked him, I said, what do you think about the Phillies stadium? He said, if they build it, I'm putting a second floor on this establishment. That's it.
No reading Chinatown!
So if you would, thank you for your patience. Let me just stop and say this is very important to us because the stenographer is waiting. For anyone who was in line, complete those cards so that information can be submitted to the stenographer and be added and a part of the public record for this meeting. We were supposed to go from 6 to 8, and I don't think we did that bad by being an hour delayed. Thank you all so much for being here on this evening. The million-dollar question on today is, well, when will the public know, whether or not a proposed arena will be built? Mayor, what's your decision? Are you for it or are you against it? Are you somewhere in the middle? What's happening here? Let me just give you an overview of what I have experienced. I arrived here, I believe, on January the 2nd or the 3rd. The most important and first order of business for me as mayor of the city of Philadelphia was to get that $6.3 billion One Philly budget passed here in the city that focused on that safe, clean, green with economic opportunity for all, working in partnership with our council president, all members of city council in order to get that done. And I am proud of the budget that we passed for this city. Okay, super proud of the investments that we made. We were walking and chewing gum at the same time. Don't Philadelphia. And I've said that. I want to say this to all of the stakeholders because this is important to get on the record. I don't care if you're for or if you're against. Both of you need to hear this from my mouth to your ears. Do not hold the Parker administration accountable for any action or inaction that did not occur on my watch. I got here on January the 2nd. My job was to do my due diligence, have my teams review every stakeholder who is at the table on behalf of the Parker administration to review the analysis of all of the reports that we have since made public, and the public has now reviewed that data. We needed to go over that. We continue to conduct our own internal analysis, and now we are at the point where ensuring that I hear directly from you and your message is not filtered through anybody else about where you are and why you are there, and that is to factor into the decision making. This is what I want to say to you. Some people have said to me, I've heard this from people who are for it, it's been 5 or 4 years, so that this proposal has sort of been in the ecosystem and there has been no action. Some people say 2. I've heard from people who are against it that yes, here we are continuing to fight the same proposal. We fought it on Delaware Avenue. We're fighting it now on Market Street. We still shouldn't be fighting this proposal. You all have a right to your opinion. I paid attention to what occurred when I was in council. I paid attention to what was happening when I was on the campaign trail running for mayor of the city of Philadelphia. And we've been doing our homework and our due diligence. And I want you to know that my position as mayor of the city of Philadelphia will be forthcoming. And I'm not talking about in months. I'm telling you that this meeting on tonight, after having met to hear one-on-one at the table with stakeholders who represented Chinatown, hearing from people who supported this proposal, just wanting to hear both sides, because ultimately for me, and I want to be real clear, the return on investment for the city of Philadelphia in the future, that is what is first and foremost in my mind. I told you about why the Chinatown story, particularly as it relates to cultural preservation and authenticity and cultural competence and maintaining the generational wealth that was built on the shoulders of the men and women who used every ounce of innovation that they had with very limited resources to build what is one of the most thriving Chinatowns in the nation, if not the most. But listen, let me just say this, and I want this to be clear, Philadelphia, because I don't care where you live, you got to hear this from me. I also come from a community where I watch people drain wealth out of a community where the people who live there, now I'm talking about my proud blue-collar working class neighborhood, where the people who lived there lived over top of the store, or either they rented it out to people who wanted to stay in our neighborhood but at that time couldn't afford to own a house. All of a sudden, that wealth was zapped out of those neighborhoods. And those people instantly became the ultimate consumers. And they still haven't rebounded on today. So for anyone who is watching, who is saying she should be, focused on one perspective versus the other, it's not either or for me. It's return on investment for the entire city of Philadelphia while being ultra sensitive because of my real life lived experience, the personal testimonies that the Chinatown community has shared with me on today. But this is what you won't do. And I want to be real clear about this. Now, I don't know how you interacted with other people. You got it right. To be your authentic selves, to communicate your messaging and what you believe and what you're for, any way that you decide. What you won't do, to me, because whatever the decision is that I make, I want to be ultra clear. And this is, I don't know if this is a good thing about me or a bad thing about me. There is no gray area. When it is time for me as mayor of this city to stand up and affirm where I am on this issue, you will know where I am, and I am going to travel to neighborhoods across this city. Somebody somewhere is saying, hey, yeah, we had a budget briefing in a town hall meeting when we were going through the budget process, and we've never seen the mayor bring that kind of educational instruction, budgetary activity in our neighborhood. When we make the decision about where we are, whether we are for or whether we are against, no, I won't make the announcement and duck and hide. I'm going to every neighborhood available and share and affirm why I have made the decision that I have made on this issue. And to the stakeholders from Chinatown who are here and the other stakeholders, again, for or against, I want to publicly say what I committed to each of you when we were at the table. I said you would not hear about my decision in the newspaper. How many of you remember that? I said you would not read about whatever the decision that I make is. You wouldn't have to read it in the newspaper. I will come to you and share it with you first. And I told you that no matter what happens, we will make sure that we stay in close communication. I just want to affirm for the public so that they get, you know how you all talk about backroom deals? We had a meeting and the door was closed. And I just want to make sure that I'm publicly affirming for you, Philadelphia, what I said to Chinatown when you weren't in the room. And to the stakeholders who are for it, who wanted to share with me how long it's been taking for the city of Philadelphia to come to some conclusion about where it's going to be relative to this stadium. I dare say this to you. It is unfair, unreasonable, and illogical for you to hold the Parker administration, and we have only been here for 8-9 months, for you to hold me accountable for the sins of the past or inaction of the past. You can't do that to me. We are working on doing the best we can with the information that we have to make the most informed decision that we possibly can. And finally, and Tiffany, don't have a heart attack. She mad right now, and I hear her. I see her. She's squirming in her chair. Let me say this to you. I served in Harrisburg for 10 years as a senior member of the Appropriations Committee. During that time, we had a $33 to $34 billion spend. That was when I was in Harrisburg and chair of the Philadelphia delegation. Helped to negotiate the $2.3 billion transportation deal for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that brought dedicated revenue to SEPTA that had never been realized, that created a multimodal fund when we had a Republican governor, a Republican-controlled House, and a Republican-controlled Senate. Worked in the City Council of Philadelphia. The work speaks for itself. Just got finished negotiating a $6.3 billion budget for anybody who is watching, I want you to hear this from my mouth to your ears. I thought you had paid attention to my work since I got here in January, where you would understand what my standard operating procedure is about having the best and the brightest to be a part of the team to inform the decision. But I've read one too many times the implicit bias, implicit bias that is present in some statements regarding this administration's ability to make a sound decision about this deal. Now, it is true, I am a product of very humble beginnings. I am a first-generation college graduate, first-generation Ivy League graduate, first-generation Harvard senior execs in state and local government, first-generation Eisenhower fellow. God has been good to me, and I've been prepared and had to be prepared, better than some of the mediocre people that have stood by me and worked alongside me throughout my career. But what I will not allow any of you to do, no matter what side you are on, is to question whether or not I, as mayor, have the intellectual prowess to make this decision and put the best and the brightest team together to do it. Now I got it out, and I said it. I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear. I don't care where you sit on this issue. You will know where I am. And for those of you who have been a part of my budget briefing and town hall meetings, you know that when I make a decision, I tell you how and why I got there. But the question I've been asking, and I'm telling you, it's been really challenging, especially on today, because I've been around long enough when the other deals were negotiated. And I remember some of the conversations. And never once, John Christmas, do I remember an article questioning the chief executive of the city. Who was at the negotiating table for you on behalf of the... Don't do it. Not to me. Because I'm going to say out loud what it is, and I'm being as diplomatic and respectful and honorable as I possibly can. We're going to get to a decision, and we're going to get there soon. And when we do it, we're going to tell you what the return on investment is or is not. It won't be worth our support if there is not a substantive return on investment for the people of the city of Philadelphia. And our entire city is the most essential factor in my equation as it relates to decision making. Is everybody clear that it's not going to take months? You're going to hear from me very soon. I'm meeting with Chinatown stakeholders first. I'm meeting with other stakeholders who I committed to talking to. They're going to know before I make a public statement. When I do make the statement, I'll be back in a place large like this, because I don't think the mayor's reception room will do for or against, but you will hear the rationale. And there are some people who will be pleased and some will be displeased, but you will understand how and why your mayor has made that decision. That's what I commit to you. City of Philadelphia, thank you so very much for your time. I appreciate you all.